Hi, my name is Suzann Freund. Today I'll be talking about my modifications for a 9th grade living environment class. This is an 811 setting. The students include an autistic boy, who I will call Jimmy, with pica tendencies, and LD and ED learners with severe reading difficulties. We will start the day after they sit down with our target. It will always be on this side of the board for continuity, and then we will move over to our Common Core standards. Afterward, we are going to start our a physical portion because we need our 5 senses on the process of diffusion. They will walk around the room. I have utilized these blue tubs around the 4 corners of the room. We will have them in cardboard boxes because of the pica student, so he cannot get to the smells. They will record their observations and probably graph them later on. Afterwards, we'll discuss about how diffusion is in the air around them, and that's why they smell the different portions of the lesson. And we're going to move to our mini lesson. Our mini lesson will comprise of a lot of visual aids because he is a very visual learner. After we write down our vocabulary and their composition books, we will move on to the experimental portion. There will be 2 stations, 1 station for my LD and ED learners and 1 station for Jimmy. He will, everybody will put on their safety goggles, and his experiment is to draw what happens initially when the red dye hits the water, the 3 drops, which he will be allowed to do. And after 5 minutes, what happens to the color in the glass. He will have to color it in a chart, as he is a very visual learner, and this will be his assessment along with the graphing of the different kinds of smells. And 1 station for Jimmy. He will, everybody will put on their safety goggles, and his experiment is to draw what happens initially when the red dye hits the water, the 3 drops, which he will be allowed to do, and after 5 minutes, what happens to the color in the glass. He will have to color it in a chart, as he is a very visual learner, and this will be his assessment along with the graphing of the different kinds of smells. And that's it.
Stop.
I didn't know how to...
Stop.
Stop. My modifications for my LD and ED students will to measure diffusion in the potatoes with the use of the red dye. They will be responsible for putting 3 drops of the red dye into the water and adding 2 potatoes into each carafe, so they can measure within 5 minutes, 20 minutes, and 24 hours. So they will add the potato slices, and after they are finished, they will take it out, cut it open, and see how far the red dye has diffused into the potato. After they are finished with this experiment and they come in the next day, they will cut open the last 24-hour potato and realize that it definitely did diffuse further into the potato. Afterwards, they will graph the results, and they can see that. Afterwards, they're going to record their data on a graph, which will give them the visual representation of the data they collected.